the video. In this video we'll show you how to do a redirect back to Salesforce using a Titan form. Now you can do this with either submit or Salesforce action. I'm going to show you both because both are very important to understand and there are a few nuances between both of them. So let's say I'm back into Titan here. To do this with submit action you actually need two forms. That's just a mandatory requirement. So this is form 1, this is form 2, and I'm going to show you how this works. Let's pretend our use case is very simple. I'm in Joe Bloggs' record. I open a form, make a change to the record, click submit. Now once I click submit, I want to be redirected back to Joe Bloggs here. Very simple. In fact, I'm going to take a different record because I constantly play around with Joe Bloggs, so I don't want to use that. Okay, so we'll use this one here. Use Mr. Bill Gates. So what we'll do is we'll use full name, we'll use email, and then we'll use a submit button. So this time my button type will be submit. And then I'm going to get another hidden field. This is important because we'll use this as parameter. So contact ID, very simple. Now let's go and set up a push and gets. We'll do a get, contact, condition is going to be simple, contact ID equals contact ID. And then we'll just map our fields. We want to bring back first name, last name, and email. And then I'm going to set up my push, which is what we'll use to update. I'll choose contact, do an update, do contact ID equals contact ID, and we'll just map our fields. So field is last name, first name, and then email. Alright, very simple. Now this is done, this is pretty much good to go. So now let's move over to form 2 because this is what we'll be using to redirect them to. So the first redirect we need to do is over here. So what I'll do is I'll get a little message, and this just needs to be an empty form. You can just say please wait while we redirect you. Something like that. You can get as creative as you want with this, to be honest, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to keep it super simple. So like this. And then what you want to do is quickly click on publish, copy the URL, and actually wait a second. First thing you want to do is actually get a hidden field. You don't want to copy the URL first, because we need to pass a parameter from form 1 to form 2, and into form 2 this will be the parameter. We can call it contact ID. Okay, so this is FLD11 over here, FLD11 top right, and now you want to take this URL like this. You go back to form 1 and you want to do on submit redirect to URL. You can paste the URL in here. You can either open in self, parent, modal, whatever you wish. And then you want to set parameters. So you want to say contact ID will go directly to FLD11. So I'm just going to say FLD11 like that. Okay? Because we're passing the record ID directly into this one. And this is where you build up the dynamic URL. You take a calculated field, switch on string mode. Let's say I want to go back to Bill Gates. I'll just copy this entire URL, paste it in here. This is the record ID, and I'm just going to get rid of this and simply drag the contact ID field there because it's going to be dynamic, right? So here it is. Here's my Salesforce URL. Here's my field, and I'm going to click apply. And we'll call this URL dynamic. Now, here's what I want to do next, which is I want to get a hidden field. because this is what we use for redirect, and we'll call this final redirect. And then what we're going to say is we're going to take value from here directly into here. So we will say FOD13 take value from FOD12, whichever the final value really is, like that. And then we are pretty much ready to go. So I'm just going to switch on debug mode and save it. And then here is where I write the condition. I say if current field is not empty, because it's going to pass a value from form 1, so it will never be empty, then go ahead and redirect. In the redirect URL, I'm going to choose my hidden field, final redirect, and I'm going to open it in self. No need to pass any further parameters really. Click save and you're done. And then back over here, we're pretty much ready to go. So here's what we're going to do. We preview the form. I'm going to take Bill Gates's record ID, and I think the value here is 12, FOD 12. Let's switch on debug mode here as well so you can see everything. 1 second. Debug mode switched on, show hidden fields. Refresh again. And let's put the parameters in. FOD2 equals my URL. And I hit submit. Now that is not the correct field, but it's 12, not 2. So let's add a little 1. And now here's my data. Okay, now I can just go ahead and modify that. I know the email's wrong here, so we'll do bill@microsoft.com. Okay, and I'll just put 1, 2, 3 here. And when I click submit, it's going to submit the form, redirect me to the second form, and you can see the second form is now filled, and it's going to take me back to Salesforce. And there you have it. Alright, there's the record, there's my update, and it's taking me directly back to Salesforce. So essentially what we're doing is, once we click submit, this value here in contact ID goes over to form 2 in the contact ID, and because I've set a condition here that if it's not empty, go ahead and redirect, it will redirect directly to the dynamic URL I've set up and take me back to Salesforce. And that's how you do it. I will shoot a custom action as well now and show you how the custom action is done. It's actually pretty straightforward, the custom action. So what you want to do is get a new form. Let's get another hidden field. Call this contact ID. Get full name. Get an email. And just move it over here. So again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to update Bill Gates again, and I'll show you how to do it. Click save. Let's go and set up a push and gets. So a push is going to be custom button. It's going to be contact. We are updating. Contact ID equals contact ID. Click apply. Map fields. And I'm updating last name, first name, and email. Apply and finish. Done. Let's set up a get. Add object, contacts again, and this one can be an auto trigger, I don't mind because I'm going to load it right away. So contact ID equals contact ID. Let's map fields, first name, last name, and email. Like that. Apply and finish. Alright. We're done. So we're done with the get here. So here is how you build a dynamic URL. So you get the calculator, drag it over here. Again, we're going to copy the URL here. So copy this like that. Go back to my form. Set calculated. Switch on string mode. Just going to get rid of this. Leave my cursor there and then drag contact ID in it. Like that. Click apply, click save, and it's pretty much ready to go. And now what you want to do is this. You want to get another hidden field. This is where it's going to return my ID. So return ID here. Alright. And you can do it, you can even actually do it dynamically. In fact, we don't even have to do it this way. We can just use that and stick with that. That's good for me. So on submit, what we'll do is turn this Salesforce action, which is the custom action, assign our action here, and then simply say redirect after finish. And the URL, you can choose, if you give me a second, our hidden field. So what we need to do here, say FLD7, take it from the calculated. So this is FLD5. We're going to say take from FLD5, but you actually put that in here. And once this is done, we go back here, basic, set, and then say take from FLD5. Sorry, just like that, and then open it in Self. Click apply, click save. This is FLD2. Let's test it. Preview. Let me switch on debug mode as well. Debug mode, there it is. And we'll make this field a bit bigger. Like that. Making it bigger just so you can see it. Like this. And there we have it. So now, FLD2 equals my my record ID here, hit enter. Okay, so it's done a get, and so far you can see that it's pulled in this record ID directly into this URL, and it's over here as well. So now all I have to do is just modify this. Let's get rid of this 1, 2, 3, click submit, and just like that we're done and redirected back. So that's how you do it. That's how you do submit redirect as well as a custom action redirect, both in one video for you.